Hello everybody, this is Lorraine with a verbling class for you at the intermediate level. This class is a reading class. We're going to read a short story and take a look at some of the vocabulary in the story. Sometimes in English we write using kind of flowery words or words that say one thing, but they're describing something different. So we'll look at how that's done in English writing. And I'll say hello to people as they enter the class. And we have Rafa. Hi, Rafa.
Hi, teacher. Good
Where are you
morning from
from?
Ricardo. I'm from Spain, from the capital, Madrid.
Okay, very good. That's an interesting picture you have. This looks like a glacier.
Yeah, it's a glacier from Iceland. I
From,
was there on
oh,
vacation
wow.
last
Very
year.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. It's beautiful. Did you
Yeah.
like Iceland?
Yeah, I enjoy a lot. I enjoyed a lot to seeing the landscape, the icebergs. One interesting thing is the more blue is the ice,
Yes?
more older it is.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
Interesting.
Uh, the blue ice is almost 1,000 years old.
Wow. But it looks like it's doing some melting, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Lots
right.
of big chunks breaking off. Wow.
Mm.
That's incredible. How long were you in Iceland?
No, not so long. 15 days, no more.
Oh. Were you traveling from place to place?
By car, by bus, with some friends in a bus with a guide, uh, making around over the Iceland. It's pretty nice.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'd like to go there myself.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Carmen, hi, how are you? Carmen, are you
Okay,
there?
hello. Yeah,
Hi,
was just uploading. Thank you. I'm just fine. Thank you.
good, excellent. Welcome to the class.
Okay.
Amparo, hi, how are you doing today?
Hi, teacher. Good morning. I'm doing well.
Good, nice to see you again, as always.
Well,
And we have Luis. Hi, Luis, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm fine.
Good. Has it been a good day for you today, Luis?
Yes, it's sunshine here where I am, and I went to the beach
Oh,
today.
okay.
I have a great time today.
You didn't have to work today?
Not, I'm on holidays.
Oh, very
I'm
good.
going. Yes,
For the whole week you're on holidays?
yes. Well, I'm on holidays, but I'm doing a little bit of work on home office,
Okay.
but only some hours. Yes, I'm on holidays for the whole week.
Oh, very good. So you stayed at home rather than traveling.
Yes.
Yeah. That's always nice too. Sometimes I think when I have a vacation, I should stay at home. But usually my husband likes to go traveling. So next week I'm on vacation and
Mm.
I won't be teaching at all next week because we're going on a motorcycle trip, so it should be fun. I'm looking forward
Ah,
to it.
very nice.
Okay, so I have posted the worksheet in Verbling chat. I'll also put it in Google Chat. Okay, and I'll share it on my screen share once I get organized here. Close that one. There. So this story is called The Locket. It's a short story by a man named Neil Colin. We'll first start first of all, everybody saw the green screen? Yes?
Yes.
There it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So let's do a warmer just to get thinking about different types of novels or fiction. So we have some examples, and we have the genre to which it belongs. So they're mixed up. We want to figure out which one is a sci-fi, which one is a romance, and so on. So let's start with Amparo. Can you read the example, the first example on the right, and then tell me whether you think it's a Western sci-fi romance or whatever?
Okay.
Go ahead.
She walked into the room and realized immediately that he was in there with her. I don't know, maybe a thriller.
Yeah, it sounds like a thriller to me. I think that's correct. Oh, I did it that way. Oh, darn. Okay. Well, we're going to go backwards.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think example number one is the thriller, but I've done this with going from the genre to the information. Yes,
right.
from left to right. Okay. So the first one is done for us, the Western. He crossed the mud street, walked into the saloon, and saw Bill there playing poker as if nothing was wrong. What words in this example tells us that this is a Western? Anyone can answer.
Mud
The
Street,
saloon.
playing
All
poker.
right, Mud Street, yeah.
Playing
Saloon,
poker.
Yeah, the saloon.
the guns.
Playing poker.
Yeah, playing poker. Okay, so there are words that tell the story and let us know what genre this is part of. Okay, so let's see. Carmen, the next one is sci-fi. Read the example that is sci-fi.
Something but him, and it wasn't the whole Cinderella alibi. Is it sci-fi?
No, sci-fi means science fiction. Science fiction.
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But because I got it wrong, because you said this is the next one is sci-fi, so yeah, I thought you were just giving me the right way. No, okay then. Something about him and wasn't the whole Cinderella alibi. Would they detective?
Yes, that would be detective, but we have to start with sci-fi because it's the next one down, and this is how.
Okay, this is the last one. As it slowed and inserted itself into orbit, it released the probe, which fell through the icy atmosphere.
Okay, so what are the words that tell us that this is science fiction?
Orbit.
Yeah, orbit's one. Anybody can answer.
The most.
Icy atmosphere.
Yeah, I see atmosphere and maybe the probe. So does everybody know what a probe is?
Is for example, an artifact that you send, uh, or some kind of object which flies automatically
Let's go
to
universe.
acquire data, to measure data.
Yeah, it's to measure data. Yeah, and a probe can actually be, like sometimes scientists use probes. It's a long metal thing that they stick into something. So it then reads data from that. But a probe can be anything that goes somewhere and reads the data. So in this case, they sent a probe into the icy atmosphere. Good. We have a new person with us. Hussein, hi, how are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. How about you?
Good. I'm very good. The next one, Hussein, is romance. So,
Romance.
What example is romance?
Kate closed the door behind her. Could she let herself dream that he was the one? After tonight, it truly seemed possible.
Okay, so why do we know this is romance?
I think she's thinking about a man, and
Yes,
she's and she's thinking like if he could be the one that she can be in a relationship with,
exactly. Yeah.
and it sounds romance, right?
Yes, it sounds very romantic. Good. All right. And so the thriller, we've already done, and Paro did that one. So she walked into the room and realized immediately that he was in there with her. So what makes this a thriller? How do we know? What element of that example tells you it's a thriller? Nobody?
But it's not very clear. But say he was in there with her.
Yeah,
There was
exactly.
someone
That
in the room.
she just realized she's not alone. And that's a scary thing, to think that somebody is in the room with you. That's scary. And that's what makes it the thriller. Good. And of course, the last one is going to be pretty easy. So, Luis?
Romance. This is the last one.
No, the last one is detective.
Detective.
Hmm. What does it, what's the example it connects to? The only one left.
It was the first one. She walked into the room.
No, that
No,
was the thriller. Detective.
The third one.
There's
the
only
third one.
one example that is not being used. So that's it. Can you read it for us, please?
Yeah, something bugged him, and it wasn't the holes in her alibi.
Alibi, yes. Okay,
Alibi.
so what words make this a detective genre? Anyone? One thing about the detective genre is they tend to make, I don't know what you'd call it, but for instance, the holes in her alibi. Something bugged him, and it wasn't the holes in her alibi. What are holes in an alibi? Does anyone know?
The
Maybe
alibi.
first of all, what's the
Yeah.
alibi?
Excuses that you make.
Okay, so when somebody is suspected of something, the police bring them in for questioning, and they say things like, "Where were you at 11 o'clock on Wednesday night?" And they say, "Oh, at 11 o'clock on Wednesday night, I was at home with my wife." That's the alibi. I was at home with my wife. But if they talk to the wife, and the wife is kind of, "Well, yeah, he was with me," they might think that she's lying. So maybe that's a hole in the alibi, that maybe he wasn't really at home. So all of these are give us the impression that we're looking at a detective genre. All right, so I'm not going to ask the question about what type of fiction, because this the reading is quite long and we won't get through all of it. But let's look at some of the vocabulary and match it with the definition. Let's start with Rafa. The first word, or actually it is a verb. Read the verb and then match it to its definition.
To plot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, many small holes. A plot. But I guess it could be the last one, a surface containing many small hollows.
That's not a plot. Let me explain plot. Sometimes when, let's say, the bad guys are going to rob the bank, before they rob the bank, they need to make a plan. And this is what they're planning to do. It's what they're plotting to do.
A secret plan to do something harmful or illegal.
Yes, that's the one. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Amparo, the next word.
Okay, worth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it says.
Okay. A wharf you will find down by the ocean or a river. It's where they load and unload cargo.
Okay. A building in a port.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Carmen? Cramped.
Cramped is like not enough space.
Right, it's not enough space. Sometimes our apartments are cramped. Okay, and the next one is for Hussein. To succumb.
Okay. A fight? No?
It's not a fight.
No, yeah. Give up to die. Sure.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
up to die. Yeah.
So often you'll hear people say he succumbed to his injuries, and it means he died of them. Okay, and the next one to rasp. Luis?
To rasp. To stay in a hotel?
No. To rasp is a way of talking. When your throat is very sore, you kind of talk like this. This is a rasp.
Very dry.
There's a better description here than very dry. That's close. But it's when I kind of speak like this.
I don't know.
Okay, anybody help him?
Speak in a low, rough voice.
That's the one, to speak in a low, rough voice. Okay, a likeness for Rafa. Likeness.
Likeness, similarity.
Yeah, similarity. Very good. Amparo? Personable.
Personable, likable, friendly.
Yeah. Likable and friendly. Carmen? Arid.
Arid is very dry.
Very dry, yeah. Good. Clinker built. This would be hard to know, but Hussein, what do you think clinker built might be meant?
Built with baked clay bricks.
Built with baked clay bricks. Clinker built. Yeah. Good. Louis? Pockmarked.
Pockmark. I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the disease called smallpox?
No.
No? Okay. Smallpox is a disease that creates sores on your skin. And when you recover from it, you are left with these scars called pockmarks. So it's like little indentations in your skin, pockmarks. So what other kind of thing, definition here, that sounds a little bit like that?
The last one?
Yeah, a surface containing many small hollows is pockmarked. Good. And Rafa? Silt.
Silt. Fight. I don't know.
Okay, anybody have an idea what silt is?
I think it's dirt in a river.
Yeah, it's dirt in a river. It's a kind of dirt. It is very, very fine because the water mixes with it and makes it muddy, and then when the water dries, it leaves behind the silt. Thoroughfare, Amparo?
Thoroughfare. Let me see what is. Tumbler is a glass. A fight.
A thoroughfare is runs through the city.
So it's a street or road.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Carmen? Brawl.
To brawl is to fight, so
Yeah.
it's a fight.
It's a fight, yeah, good. And the last one, Hussein?
A glass for drinking.
Yes, a
Easy
tumbler,
one.
a glass for drinking. Okay. So we've gone all through all this vocabulary because you will meet it in the reading. So we're going to read the short story now, and I'll just switch over so we can see it. Also, you can follow it in the worksheet that I have posted. Okay. Okay. Let's start with Rafa. So the box on the page that's kind of yellow is the story. So could you start reading for us the first paragraph?
Yeah. What would you do if you were forced to kill? Not in a moment of red blood, thoughtless rage, but having been confronted with a truth that pushed you to costly plot on another man's life, to be a family man and protect your loved one's honor.
Okay, good. Thank you. Amparo, can you continue with the next paragraph, please?
Okay. My father, Sam Biddy, led us from Baltimore to San Francisco in the summer of 1873. We had a good business in Baltimore, a store selling farm supplies. But my father wanted more for us, and we boarded a train in June and arrived in Sacramento on the recently opened Transcontinental Railroad some 8 days later.
Okay, very good. So I have some phrases underlined in red or highlighted in red, and I want you to think about what it might mean. So we have a moment of red-blooded, thoughtless rage. What does that make you think of? Carmen?
Okay, I think it is that sometimes when you get in a rage, you don't think what you're doing. So it's like you're acting by impulse. I mean,
Yeah, that's good. That's a very good explanation. So it's when that momentary rage and you can't think properly. And it's hot. That's why we say red-blooded. Your face goes red and you're just furious and you don't think very well in that situation. So sometimes you can do things in that moment that you wouldn't normally be able to do. So in this case, they're saying maybe you could kill like that, but could you kill if you aren't in this kind of a rage? Can you do it knowing exactly what you're doing?
planning it.
Yeah, exactly. The big difference. Okay, and what about the next phrase? protect your loved one's honor. What do you think that might mean?
Is that for me?
Anyone can answer these. This is the hard part about reading novels, because we often use these kinds of phrases that are colorful, but not really evident of exactly what it means. So we're looking at how this phrase, what it means in the story.
I think it's related with protect the honor of your family, your love honor, the honor of yourself or your parents or your family,
Okay.
trying to protect it.
So when you're protecting honor, though, in this case, what they're talking about here, what would you do if you're forced to kill? Now, this forced to kill for someone's honor, I mean, why would you have to kill for someone's honor?
There are a lot of wars involved on honors issues between
Yes.
families and countries, only for the protect the honor of one country or one family, like in the mafia, for example, in
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah.
Like the Godfather.
With loud roll, slap. I don't know.
So
Like a vendetta. Yeah.
yeah, vendetta, or this is revenge. This is a revenge thing. So when you're protecting an honor, so somebody maybe takes something that belongs to you, or maybe they kill someone who is close to you, and you want to even the score. You want to protect your loved one's honor, or do something for revenge, so that you even things out again. Okay, so now in the next paragraph, my father, Sam Beatty, led us from Baltimore to San Francisco. What does that mean? Again, open to anyone.
Move out.
Okay, move out. So you're moving from Baltimore to San Francisco. But the feeling of that, is Sam kind of leaves and his family trails along behind him. It's not that everybody agreed to go. It's just in those days, and maybe in other parts of the world, if the father decides he's going to do something, his whole family just has to do it along with him. So it gives that feeling that they don't really have much choice in the matter. Are there any other questions about these two paragraphs? All right. So let's continue. I think it's, is it Hussein's turn? Can you read the next paragraph for me?
Life was tough in San Francisco, and my mother missed the East terribly. I found it hard to make new friends, and we lived in a cheap Chinese district of the city near the warways. The streets full of trash and rats.
Okay, so the word you're struggling with there is wharves.
Wharves.
Mhm.
Wharves. Okay.
Good. And we looked at that in the vocabulary list. These are the buildings down by the water. Okay. Good, thank you. Louis, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Yes. In 1879, my father was shot by a drunk gambler. He clung to life on his deathbed in our cramped house for 16 days before escaping. His final rasping words to me are recalled with a certainty that frightens me, almost making me feel as though the words were mine. Find your mother's locket, Ben. Find it and fetch it back. He died the following afternoon.
Okay, very good. So in that paragraph, we have clung to life on his deathbed. What do you think that means? How does it make you feel about what he's doing?
He doesn't want to die. He's sticking to it.
Okay, so he's taking his time dying, but he's going to die. Because he's on his deathbed, we know he's going to die, but it takes a while before that happens. So he clings to his life. He's holding on to it. He's struggling. But finally, of course, he succumbs. Good. Are there any other questions about that paragraph? All right, then. Rafa, can you continue, please?
The drunk who shot him had ripped his precious locket, complete with a likeness of my mother when she was 16, from his neck as he stumbled away from the surging curiosity of the park's crowd. He also gave the $100 from the gaming table, but the loss of that locket hurt my father more than the bullet that tore into his throat.
Okay. So the only thing I have highlighted in here is as he stumbled away. What does that make you think of? Like he just got hit by a bullet. So what does stumbling away mean?
Almost falling down.
Yeah, almost falling down. He's like, if you've ever seen a really drunk person, they stagger and fall, and that's stumbling along. Okay. Any other questions about that paragraph? All right, everyone's understanding what's happening. Okay, Aka Ken, hi, welcome.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm good. We're just reading through a short story. So
Okay.
can I get you to continue? I want you to read actually 2 paragraphs here, okay?
Okay. My mother's mind was made up. We would head back east. Within 6 weeks, myself, my sister Kate, and my mother were on another train heading into the Rockies. Back in Baltimore, we built our lives. I went to Boston to study engineering. My mother, accustomed to detailing, purchased a small general store on the outskirts of the city, and dear Kate made a final lawyer's wife and mother of the 2 personable children.
Okay, good. So mind was made up. My mother's mind was made up. And this is a question for anyone. What do you think this means?
Decided?
My mother decided, and there was no way you were going to change her decision. When somebody says their mind was made up, they've made a decision, and the decision is final. Good. What about rebuilt our lives?
To build again.
Yeah, we began again. We started all over. Okay, yes. Any other questions about those paragraphs?
Now, personable children. What is personable?
Okay, we did study personable in the vocabulary list,
I see.
and this means that they're very likable and friendly, nice children.
I see.
Personable.
Okay.
A good word.
Mhm.
Okay, so Amparo, I want you to read the next 2 paragraphs, please.
I initially continued the quest for my mother's locket, making some inquiries through a San Francisco newspaper, but I quietly laid it to one side as I got on with my life. Over the next 20 years, my engineering work carried me all over our country, mostly on railroad and mining projects. My mother, having remarried, quickly divorced and died some 8 years after my father, still heartbroken.
Okay, so laid to one side. What do you think that means?
So he forgot about it. He just left it aside.
Yeah, not completely forgot about it, but he decided to not do anything about it. So it's a quest for the mother's locket, but he's decided to not follow up on doing anything about it because he got busy with his life. Any other questions about those two paragraphs? Okay. Now, the second part of the story. Carmen, can you read the first paragraph, please?
Okay. In 1906, I found myself in Rhyolite, a booming new town that had spread, like an infection, on the arid plain below the slopes of the Bullfrog Mountains in the state of Nevada. 5,000 Hardy Souths supported 3 large banks, 3 newspapers, and 3 railroad services, all where nothing had existed 20 months before. Rhyolite was enjoying the good times.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Like an infection. What does this mean in this situation? A booming new town that had spread like an infection.
Very quickly.
Yes, very quickly, very quickly. Good. And 5,000 hardy souls. What does this mean?
The population of the no could be
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's there's
persons.
5,000 of them and they're hardy souls. So what does this say about these people?
They looks along with like souls. It seems like these souls along the street.
Okay, so when we have hardy souls, what does the word hardy mean? Anybody?
Kind of patient.
Partially patient or persistent is another good word. Strong, very strong people. So these are people with a purpose. So they've gone out there with the determination they're going to make a life for themselves and they're going to work really hard at doing it. So the 5,000 hardy souls. Good. Luis, can you continue reading the next paragraph?
Yes, I worked in offices on Golden Street, and from my second-floor window I could see the sprawl of this clinker-built town, the pock-marked hillsides covered with mine openings, all too well. 50 saloons littered the dirt streets, and on the rare occasions it rained. Flash floods would bring both silt and stone down from the bullfrogs and through
Okay, let me just, come on, there.
the widest thoroughfares in a yellowy green torrent, and the whole was framed by a burning blue sky and fanned by furnace winds.
Okay, so there's a lot of flowery language in this paragraph.
Yes.
So the first, I could see the sprawl of this clinker-built town. What do you think that town looks like? The sprawl of the clinker-built town. We saw in vocabulary, clinker-built meant these homemade bricks made from the clay of the area. So, what do you think the town looks like or looked like?
It's
Shanty
very A new town, maybe because it's a new one.
It's new, yes. And do you think it's in nice, neat streets that are very square, like, on a grid pattern?
No.
Maybe
Mm,
shantytown.
Yeah, like a shanty town. It's a sprawl. Sprawl means, somebody put up a saloon here, somebody built a house over there, somebody built something else in between. And none of the streets are straight. They're all just wherever the buildings are. It's not a pretty town at all. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
It
Salty
looks
town.
like a cheddar cheese.
Yeah, like cheddar cheese. Well, that's
Like
the
the planification.
pockmarked hillsides. Yes, like cheddar cheese. So why are the hillsides pockmarked?
By the mines
Mm-hmm.
opening
Yeah, all those
the
mine
hole.
openings, like holes. Yeah. Okay, and then the phrase 50 saloons littered the dirt streets. So what do you think about saloons littering the dirt streets?
That is
Many
the only thing
saloons.
that, that they are working.
Okay. Again, this is like the sprawl, the word sprawl and littered. It means there is no design to it. They're all over the place, and there's no design in how they were built. They just went up wherever anybody decided that they would build one. So when you have litter, which is like garbage, and
Garbage.
it's all over the place, right? Litter just is everywhere. And so these 50 saloons are just everywhere.
Saloons means bar or
Yes, it's a
pub?
bar. Yeah.
Okay.
In the old Western towns, instead of calling them bars, they called them saloons.
I see.
And I think it was just a weird way of saying salon. And a salon is a French word, just for a room where you could get a drink. Okay.
Or beauty salon is
Yeah,
English.
salon is where you can get your hair done. Mhm.
Okay, it's English. Okay.
I think the word itself is probably French, but
Mhm.
English, they borrow words from every
Yeah.
language. So we have words that are Spanish, words that are French, words that are German.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next is a yellowy green torrent. What do you think that is? This is talking about flash floods. A yellowy green torrent. Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Because it's muddy, it's dirty.
Yes, it's all muddy and dirty, and this water is flowing down the main streets. It's going right down through the town, and it's all muddy, and the mud, I guess, is a yellowy green color, and ugh. Yeah. All right, any other questions about that paragraph? All right. Yeah, whose turn is it to read? I think it's Rafa?
Could be.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Busy as I was with three mining projects in the area, I had made it my custom to frequent a salon directly underneath my office for a whiskey before joining my wife at home. The salon was not Roth establishment, though pretty much every place in Rhyolite would be guaranteed a brawl on most evenings, with the miners letting off steam.
Okay, so I'm going to point out some words for you. The first one is this one, busy, busy, busy. So it means that I'm doing something all the time. I'm busy. And this is mining. Mining. So mining is the process of digging into the ground to find something valuable like gold or silver or whatever. You mine for it. You dig into the ground. And in English, this word is guaranteed. So can you say that? Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Not guaranteed. It's like there is no you there. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yes, exactly. Guaranteed.
Thank you.
Good. And of course, because this word is from the word mine, the miners. These are people who go into the mines and dig in the ground to get whatever's precious. Okay? So, made it my custom to frequent a saloon. What does that mean?
I get used to go
Used
to
to
a
go.
salon.
Exactly, yeah, this is a habit.
A hobbit.
It's a habit to go to the same saloon every day and have a whiskey. What about guaranteed a brawl? What do you think will happen in the saloons if it's guaranteed a brawl? Yeah, fight every day, always. You can count on there being a fight. And what are miners letting off steam?
They letting off their anger.
Not necessarily anger. It can be anger, but what do you think they're like after spending long days underground in the dark?
Tired or stressed or
Stress, yes, I think it's a stress. So when you let off steam, it usually means that you're letting go of your stress. Now, that can mean that you get into fights, or it can just mean that you get absolutely, totally drunk. But you're just relaxing and letting off steam. Good. So, Akaken, can you read the next, well, just down to the end of the page here. From
Okay.
here.
I was able to leave George's saloon when I heard the man speak. He was 3 stools to my right. His words stilled my heart, and left the whiskey tumbler frozen, hot titled at my bottom lip. Now, this Locket here, I won 5 draw in San Francisco 25 years ago. I dared not look over, when an associate of mine walked in and sat on the stool to my right. I had no choice but to turn to face him.
Okay, good. So this word here, can you read it again for me, Akaken?
Tilted.
Yes,
Tilt.
much better. Tilted.
Tilted.
So what is half tilted? What does that mean?
Whiskey timber. Half, how can I say half, hold on.
Okay, so
Tilted.
Disoriented to some.
yeah, when you go to drink something, you lift it to your lips and then you have to tilt the glass in order for the contents to run into your mouth. So he was just about ready to take a drink and he just froze there, half tilted, not quite. It isn't actually pouring into his mouth yet. Okay. His words stilled my heart. What does that mean?
It's similar to, it's a metaphor that when your heart has been broken by a knife, like I think Mm. Still in my heart. Would be? No?
Yeah. Anybody got a different
Well,
feeling
I don't know,
about
but for instance, still is too harsh when you're quiet. So perhaps got something to do with it. Not quite sure about it.
it?
He
Okay.
got he was
Catch
very
his
impressed.
attention.
Okay. First, Lewis.
He was very impressed.
Impressed.
Yes.
Okay. Amparo.
His word catch his attention.
Yes, the words caught his attention, and I don't know if you've ever had the sensation when something happens, it's very unexpected, and you sort of feel a jump in your heart. Something weird happens in that area. You just get this strange sensation.
Is it like to skip a beat?
Yes, like skipping a beat. My heart
Mm-hmm.
skipped a beat. This is very similar thing. His words stilled my heart. So for a moment, his heart stopped or it skipped a beat. Okay. Okay, the word five draw. I won in five draw. What do you think that meant?
Is that some kind of bet or something?
It's a kind of bet. What do you think they're using?
A fiver.
Okay.
A draw is like
He went back.
like a raffle.
What kind of game are they playing?
Poker.
Yes, exactly. So they're using cards and they're playing poker. And five draw is a type of poker game. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not a poker player, but he won it in a card game or a poker game. Are there any other questions about what we just read? Okay. Hopefully we'll get through the whole story. Okay. Amparo, can you read, yeah, from here?
I there? No, that one over.
Over his
shoulder, I saw a grizzled man talking to two of the saloon's working girls. He was at least 60 years old, and he had up on the palm of a hand, still cooing away to the girls about it, my mother's locket, the chain still around his heavily wrinkled neck. I would never have failed to recognize it. He never opened it. No, but the casing had an oak tree design that was unmistakable.
Okay, read the single sentence here.
With my father's plea in my head, I got up and left.
Okay, good. So, a grizzled man. What do you think a grizzled man looks like?
Like bear.
Man, like a bear.
Yeah,
like a grizzly, yeah, grizzly bear. Okay,
gray hair.
Gray hair and probably lots of it, maybe long gray hair with a long gray beard, yeah. And is he an old man or a young man? Does he look old or young?
Not young, I guess.
Yeah, he's at least 60. So in the 1800s, 60 years old is a pretty old man. And usually a grizzled man has a lot of gray hair. And that's why it's called grizzled, because it's a gray, lots of hair, not being cut or anything, and it's all gray. So he looks kind of old. Any questions about anything else in that paragraph? Okay. Okay, we got to try and get it all. So, Carmen, can you continue reading, please?
Okay. I sent abroad a few quiet inquiries the following day and learned all I needed to know. Charles Powell was 59 years old and had been in town a month, working on the large Lesser Bullfrog mine 3 miles from town and lodging across Golden Street. He still gambled and still drank too much, and was wanted in 2 states.
Okay, very good. Luis, can you continue?
That evening my wife sat writing letters to her friends in Boston. A poky, dimly lit cabin up near the main railroad station was home for us. Our third son had not yet arrived in 1906, but Sam and Arthur were growing fast. He had saved a fair pound after 6 months in Rhyolite.
Continue.
I have done all I can do here, I began. I'd rather leave and head back to Boston.
Okay, good. Thank you. Rafa, can you continue, please? Oh, no, he can't. He just dropped out. Aka Ken.
Okay. I've done all I can do here, I began. I'd rather leave and head back to Boston. She looked up, briefly contemplated my determined attitude, and nodded her agreement. 2 days later, the four of us were standing on the Central Pacific Railroad platform at Bakersfield. Lloyd, Lloyd Light and Powell were gone from my life forever.
Okay.
Though,
No,
okay,
we'll let Amparo do the next one. So just this, the name of the town is Bakersfield.
Bakersfield,
Yeah. And the other town was Rhyolite.
Rhyolite.
Good. Okay. Amparo, continue the last paragraph.
Though the readers of my story will show little patience and understanding of my behavior, I would ask you to contemplate the actions of a true family man and look to your own heart. Tom was born 5 months later.
Okay. So, very quickly, tell me, did he get the locket or no?
No.
Okay. So you figure he didn't. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to talk about the different possibilities. The writer has left it open, I think,
But
because yes,
I
go
think
ahead.
he decide for protect his family to go on with his
Okay,
life. I think so because they say
possibly.
that now he have a third baby, so
Yes.
that is more most important maybe.
Okay, but the question I have is why did he leave? Why did he bother to leave and go back to Boston?
Because I suppose he don't want to be to fall in the temptation to act against the old man.
Okay, well that's certainly you can read it that way for sure. But I sometimes wonder when I read this if he got everything ready to go back to Boston. Maybe he went and killed the old man, and then they left, so nobody would know it was him. Possibly, you don't know from the way they ended this short story, and that's part of the charm of short stories. Is sometimes you can read the ending both ways.
So, can we call it this type of ending as open ending? Is it
Uh,
English?
yes, an open ending. Or ambiguous. It's
Ambiguous,
ambiguous. You
ambiguous
might,
ending.
you could, you could make a case for either direction that he does get the locket back or he doesn't. All we
Mhm,
know is that he left, and we're left wondering whether he did anything or not.
mhm.
Anyway, I hope that this was interesting for you. It's something that I thought I would try, and it was good. I enjoyed it, and I thank you all for joining me for this lesson. And hopefully, I'll see you again soon in another lesson. Take care,
Thank you,
everybody.
Okay, take
Bye
care.
Lorraine.
bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day,
See
all.
Bye
you.
Take
bye.
care,
Bye.
please.